Hello, friend. How are you? You may have noticed that this is dropping on a slightly different day than my usual videos, and that's because I've decided to shake things up a little bit on the channel. Of course, I mean, I'm 15 videos in, but I'm trying to make sure that I don't get too stagnant on one idea and I try out loads of different things. And one of the things that I've seen so far in the content that I have been making is there seems to be a bit of a battle between content that's a lot more looser and just me sort of saying where my head's at, saying where my heart's at, a kind of vlog, on all different things. And really as a documentation of the process of recovering from PTSD and finding my way in the world and all of this kind of stuff. And then there's certain content that's a little bit more honed in, a little bit more structured, a little bit more like bam, bam, bam. Here's a particular topic. Let's discuss this topic. And something that I do believe that when you watch it, it is a little bit more digestible because it's less focused on my experience and more about the information that I'm sharing. I've been sort of competing with these two different approaches, and one being, okay, do a vlog based video or do something a little bit more content focused. Am I gonna have some kind of emotional breakdown and share with you what's on my mind, or are we going to talk about a particular concept or perspective? And it's all been a little bit jumbled, and what I'd like to do is try something a little bit different, and that's actually to separate the videos into their own sort of respective series, basically. So the video you're watching now is less about particular concepts or ideas, but allowing me to just flow with how I'm feeling at the moment, and effectively a vlog, So I talk a little bit about what's going on, what I'm doing to support myself with mental health, certain things that I've learned over the week. Very kind of loose, very kind of relaxed in nature, rather than being too structured. And then the videos on Sunday are more going to be focused on particular topics. I really want to get better at structuring videos, as I can see that there's a lot of benefit in doing that when it comes to content creation, but I also believe in the relaxed format as well. So I thought, why not just run both of these videos side by side, and just let them be their own thing, and over time it will tell whether people enjoy that type of content more of this. But at the end of the day, I love having a space to just being able to talk without any particular direction, without any kind of goal or goal oriented. But I also do enjoy making content that's a little bit more planned, and really refining myself as a content writer and a video writer. So that is that's what I've decided to do, and this is the first of these vlogs. So I've done vlogs, but this is the first of the vlogs in these formats. Let's just talk about this week then. So I'm going through a lot of grief at the moment because my nana passed away last year, and I recently, the process for that experience recently finished, so to speak, in terms of like inheritance and wills and stuff like that. And it's hit me like an absolute freight train. It's knocked me right off my socks, and I it's been a really, really tough week. I'm not gonna lie. Like a lot of stress, and I've been physically ill. I've been mentally struggling as well, and I think there's so many things that have come up in the last week when I'm in a very down state, when I am knocked off my horse, so to speak. I start to question myself a lot. I start to believe in myself less and less, and I really start to go in on myself and fall back into sort of old patterns of behavior, which I really, really noticed over this last week. I noticed that as soon as I felt down and just pretty much downright depressed, a lot of my ways of behaving from years ago started to kick back in. That's been quite challenging, and you can probably hear the stress on my voice. It has been a very, very stressful week. I think death is a really, really difficult one. I'm only starting to just now understand how much my nan meant to me, how close I was to her. I didn't have the privilege of really accepting or I didn't really have the privilege of accepting or admitting that in her living years. I think once my granddad passed away, you know, it was a very challenging thing to process. And so, you know, I distanced myself from her in her living years, because I didn't want her to go, and she did, and it came a lot quicker than I expected, you know. And that's been very, very difficult to process. It's been very difficult to process what's happened. It's been an absolute ton to deal with, you know. And you know, I find that when I get like this, I'm always trying to make my life feel more adequate or something, or project or experience something elsewhere that makes me feel happier, or some kind of distraction. And it is exhausting. It is absolutely exhausting, you know. It has been a very, very, very tough time recently. And yet I don't feel like it's the first time I've said that. I will say this though. I will say this. Having a steady morning routine has been so key to keep me straight. Like yesterday, I didn't do it, and I realised, like, it's like my head wanting to go back to not doing my morning routine again. And I can see why I've put that there in the first place. I can see why I've built it, why I do the certain things that I do, and that's been really, really useful to see, because it allows me to go, okay, you know, I practice my gratitude every day. I do my meditation every day. I do all of these things because it creates a stable point of behavior, a ritual almost, that I can latch onto and hold on to when everything else is chaos. The other thing that I've talked a little bit on my Instagram about, but I've reached out for support again. I've reached out for help. I'm trying, you know, and it's frustrating. It's frustrating because trying to find mental health support with advanced therapy techniques to deal with mental health symptoms such as PTSD is bloody challenging. Not only for public healthcare professionals, which I think is borderline impossible, but private as well. You know, I've even gotten to people and I'm like, you know, and they're all booked up. They haven't got waiting lists. And it really made me think, you know, I can see why I've done so much of this by myself. Is because it's like I felt like I didn't have any other choice. I can only speak from my position, but I'm telling you, like, I don't think I'm the only one that's got mental health challenges. Sometimes it feels like it does, but it really, like, do you have you had, like, everybody seems to have it, yet why the is not the main forces of why is there not so much money that's being poured into this? Why is that not at the forefront of our healthcare system? I appreciate it's a bit ranty, but you know, these are some of the feelings that I've been experiencing. I've been fortunate that I've managed to speak to someone who, and I'm going to be doing some regular counselling. But yes, I develop my own coping mechanisms, which I guess is what I'm teaching or what I'm sharing with you guys, because I have had to, because it is the only way that I've managed to survive. It is the only way that I've got by. I've had to take things into my own hands because, one, when I tried to tell people I need help, they downplayed it as if I don't need it. And two, when I'm trying to get a diagnosis from someone, it is the most complicated thing in the world. And it is like the most and you're like, okay, what do I do? I'll do it for myself. No, I know my some of my coping mechanisms aren't amazing in what they do. They're not the most perfect thing in the world, but they are, in certain degrees, especially for me, they have helped. They genuinely have helped. And it's weird because I go and look at certain therapies like cognitive behavioral therapy, and I've ended up teaching myself therapeutic techniques I could have gone and learned in the university through my own experience. So I've learned on the job. It's weird sometimes because I go and speak to, certain therapists, and they're only telling me stuff that I've been practicing on myself, and then I start to question, like, what is the right way to go about this? Someone told me the other day that, you should go get a professional diagnosis. I'd love to know how. I'd love to know how. In the UK, I'd love to know how. Because the last time I went to go get a diagnosis, I spent more time on waiting lists. I spent more time being pushed from pillar to post, getting pushed in one box to another, rather than just having a conversation with someone who really, truly takes a step back and tries to understand what's going on without trying to push you down a list or tick a box. So forgive me for my rant, because I don't know, like, I don't know, like, if anybody's watching this in the UK or in any country, let me know. I want to hear from you in the comments. Do you think, am I biased in my way of thinking? Have you managed to get mental health diagnosis with relative ease? Or have you also had the same struggle? Have you had the same challenges? I would really love to hear from you. Sometimes without that feedback, I feel like it might just be me, and that I might just be unfair to the system. Or is there an actual problem here where, sorry, I got a little bit caught up over my own words there. Is there a problem with the system where you don't know what you don't know what you are mentally, you don't know what you experience mentally, and everybody's trying to give you different answers, but none of them actually know you. Anyway, I hope you have a lovely rest of the week, and I'll see you on Sunday. Take care.